Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Landon. I'm the creator of the Unbreakable Argonauts #1. We finished our campaign over on Indiegogo. We're currently up on fundmycomic.com, soon to be over on Kickstarter, and I just wanted to do, a short video list just telling you 10 reasons why you should back the Unbreakable Argonauts #1. So reason number one is the art. The art is just fantastic. Daniel Max is the comics interior. He's a published artist from Brazil, and he's just excellent. Especially when it comes to action sequences, which, for this comic is really important. It's a very action-heavy comic, which I suppose in itself is a good reason to pick it up. It's going to be 64 pages, and I think we have something like 5 pretty in-depth action sequences. And so I think, Daniel, if you look at his art, it's just brilliant for this. It's brilliant for the action. It's good for landscapes, which are also pretty prominent in the comic. And if you've seen the concept art, you'll know exactly what I mean. Reason number 2 is the colors. So, not everyone always talks about the colors, but Russell Vincent, who's the colorist on this book, does an amazing job of bringing Daniel's art to life. And the colors they use is just perfect for the setting, perfect for the time period. Everything just comes together really well. Reason number 3 is the heroes. So the heroes will take inspiration from the classic comic book heroes of the Golden Age. I think pretty much most of the most important heroes in comics. Captain America, Batman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, all that stuff comes from the Golden Age. And definitely look to that for inspiration. Also look to some of the kind of newer comics that are kind of inspired by the Golden Age. So things like Rocketeer. But all these heroes are their own characters, and I think that if you read it, you're going to want to see more of them. You're going to want to see solo adventures. You're going to want to see, Brave and the Bold style team-ups. You're going to want to see more of the team as a whole. And it's not just, by the way, it's not just pulp heroes. We do actually have some more kind of classic traditional superheroes in there as well. I don't see any reason why the two can't share a universe. Reason number 4 is the villains. So as much fun as I had creating the superheroes and the kind of adventure heroes, I have to say creating the villains was a lot of fun as well. Almost the same. One of my favorite creations is the villain Blood Moon, and I think he's really going to be one of those villains where, like Doctor Doom, if you hear he's in this comic, you just want to pick it up. If you see him on the cover, you just want to pick it up. And you're just going to have a lot of fun with this. Now, the villains are more callbacks of the Silver Age than the Golden Age. So the heroes are more of a callback to the Golden Age, and then the villains are more a callback to the Silver Age, which is more, more outrageous, more eccentric, more creative, and more colorful. And I think that's really I think the two of those together is really going to fit pretty well. So number 5 is the story itself. So at its heart, this comic is an adventure and a rescue mission. And it takes after comics like Giant Size X-Men #1 by Len Wein, one of the great comics in history. And that was definitely an inspiration for this comic. It's even called Giant Size, or Unbreakable Argonauts Giant Size #1. And, just paying homage to that, classic, brilliant comic. And much like that comic, it's a rescue mission of the heroes. Now what happens in this comic is a little bit different. It's more of a kind of, the villains hatch this scheme of divide and conquer of the heroes. And when they let their guard down, they manage to capture 2 of the heroes, and they set off way out across the Pacific Ocean. And you've got these 5 heroes left stranded, and they have no clue where their friends are going. And they have to really come together and just, head out and save them before it's too late. So reason number 6 is owning that #1. Looking at Marvel, looking at DC, Image, and so on. Obviously, there's a speculating market. A lot of people do want to grab that #1. They want to grab those first appearances. Unbreakable Argonauts Giant Size #1 has, I think, about 20 first appearances. It's not going to feel crowded. When you read the comic, you're not going to feel like you're keeping up with 20 heroes or 20 characters all at once. That's not how it's going to come across at all. Some of these are just, cameos, but they're setting up bigger things later on. The plan is to keep this as one series. And then, if I have, smaller kind of one-shot stories to tell, I'll include those as backups rather than making you sub to another series and another series and a one shot. I don't see that's necessary. So this is a classic, true first issue, and it's going to hold that speculator value if that's what you're looking for. So reason number 7 is consistent quality. So unlike Marvel and DC, I'm not really interested in branching off into more, esoteric, preachy, I know some people will say woke. I'm not doing that. This is going to be a straightforward comic book series. We're not going to use gimmicks like the multiverse. We're not going to flood you with mantle swaps. We're not going to do anything like that. We just plan to let the quality of these comics speak for themselves. And I think that when you show up and you pick up these comics and you read them, I do believe that the quality is going to speak for itself. Reason number 8. So if you're a fan of mythology, this comic uses a lot of mythology, especially Greek and kind of Old English mythology. So, like the legend of King Arthur and that kind of thing, I plan to include as we go on. But even, African, North American myths, those are going to feature throughout the series. The ending of the first issue does actually segue directly into a little bit of African mythology for the second issue. And for me, if you include mythology in a comic, it's going to make me want to come show up and pick it up. So hopefully it'll grab your attention too. Reason number 9, I think, is supporting indie comics. So, in the modern era of crowdfunding, I think this really is the indie creators' heyday. And I think not only is it important to back those comics, but also to show that you can be successful in the space and control your characters. You can keep creative rights over these characters. You don't have to give them up to a corporation just to be successful. And, I think that's a pretty good reason to back this comic, or really any comic on crowdfunding. Reason number 10, and this is kind of the crown jewel of what I'm looking for, is I want this to be the ultimate pulp comic. I love pulp comics. It wasn't that way when I started out. I had to kind of find them and figure out what pulp is. And then I started picking up things like, Tom Strong, Phantom, Rocketeer, even Green Hornet and Lone Ranger and all that kind of thing. But even looking at films, if you like Indiana Jones or even Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, then this is definitely aimed for you. It's for everyone. It's for, if you love superheroes, if you love adventure, if you love science fiction, everything's in here. And that, I think, is a pretty good reason to leave off with. So thanks for listening. I really hope you go back this comic. It is over on fundmycomic.com, the Unbreakable Argonauts #1. It will soon be up on Kickstarter as well. Thanks for listening.